Welcome to the Angry Nerd Podcast. My name is Arshawn Wade, aka the Angry Nerd. The Angry Nerd Podcast is taped in front of a live Facebook audience from my mom's basement. The Angry Nerd Podcast is made possible by a few bad life choices and a couple of bad decisions. The Angry Nerd Podcast is made possible by money that my wife gives me from my SSI check, a chick named Joni, and proceeds from listeners like you. If you want to be one of the listeners that helps contribute to this show getting better and better, go to Cash App. My Cash App is $, The Angry Nerd. While you're there, pick up one of the Angry Nerd Podcast t-shirts in black or white from sizes small to extra large. We'll get yours out to you for the low price of $20 plus shipping and handling. Now, shout out to a couple of sponsors. Once again, if you live in the Pulaski or Benton area, contact Grayson's Gutter Cleaning to get all the little giblets cleaned off the top of your house, cleaned out of your gutter. If you're from the urban community, I know you had no idea that you're supposed to get your gutters clean, because I had no idea you're supposed to get your gutters clean. I thought they took care of themselves. I was wrong. No, there were little green men living in my gutter. I called Grayson's Gutter Cleaning, and they came out, swiped them all out, got all the little guys out of there, and took them to wherever they take that stuff. If you're in the Pulaski or the Benton area, contact Grayson's Gutter Cleaning. So, it's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, everybody. To all my fathers out there, happy Father's Day to everyone who doesn't have a father right now. If your father is gone, my heart goes out to you. I know that feeling. Excuse me. But in lieu of Father's Day, I went to the fights last night. Great night of fights. But things kind of gotten out of hand. And it's funny that today's Father's Day, because one of our friends was fighting another one of our friends. And anybody who follows the fight game know that these situations get convoluted. Kind of becomes the gym versus gym kind of thing, and who you like better. And then people start to get catty. And it's funny because we're all men and we will accuse women of being catty. But somehow or another, even amongst a group of hardcore fighting men, we get gossip. And we get backbiting, and we get half-truths. So, one friend appeared to flop, as we know LeBron James has been accused of over the years. So when there was a silence, I screamed out, "Hey man, we're going to start calling you LeBron." And of course, everybody thought that was pretty funny. Except for this brother's son, who was maybe 50 feet away from me when I made the comment. No shade, no hatred. We're fighters. We talk a little noise. I like the guy a whole lot. But his son got upset. And I thought about it for a second. I said, you know what? If I was watching my dad in the cage and he was fighting and probably, not necessarily winning at this point, and then somebody made a comment that I viewed as negative or disrespectful, my emotions are already high because I'm watching my dad not do his best. I'd be upset too. I would totally be upset. Why? Because our dads are our heroes. Those of us who have been blessed to have a father or a father figure in our lives, these guys are like God to us. These guys are like, Hercules. These guys are mythical creatures that can pick up a car with one hand. They can fix anything. Excuse me. You think about your dad and you think, was there ever a time when I thought somebody was going to kick my dad's ass? No, never. Never thought my dad was in a situation that he couldn't handle. And even as a grown man right now today, I know that he was a man. And I know that if somebody had got a gun and shot him or a knife and stabbed him, that he would have bled. But to me, the little boy who I was, he's still Superman. He is still Superman. And let me give a shout out to everybody's dad, including this young man. Because dads are important. But anyways, I digress. The young man became upset, and I did my best to console him. But I'm not upset that the young man didn't want to hear kind things from somebody that he just experienced disrespect from. So we came over and we tried to put things to bed and say, hey, my bad, no disrespect. Let's be cool, guys. There's already some history there, some bad blood there. Maybe that joke wasn't the best thing to be doing. So we tried to end things amicably as possible. But as we all know, you just can't make everyone happy. There's no way to do it. And you can only kiss ass so long before you eat shit. And I don't know about you, but eating shit isn't a part of my diet. So I did my best to try and make sure that things got rectified. And I'll say it here even tonight. I love OTC. Shout out to Donovan Beard. Shout out to Brandon McKissick. Shout out to my man. I'm blanking on the coach's name. I'm so sorry, man. This, excuse me. DeJuan Pickney. Shout out. I got no hatred or animosity toward any of those guys. I love those guys. And I hate that we keep ending up in this stupid situation where it's like Cobra Kai versus Miyagi-Do. And I have no idea which one of us is which. Because I know that we're not a bad school. And I don't believe that they are either. So I hate that it keeps coming down to foolishness like this. So hopefully we can set aside our differences, set aside our grievances, and have a conversation and get to the bottom of some things so we can get back to training and get back to doing the thing that we love without negativity and without there always being some sort of to do afterward. Win, lose, or draw, at the end of it, we shake hands, we love each other, we hug each other, and we go on about our day. And we continue to live our lives as best we can. But it takes two to tango. So as I'm here willing and extending an olive branch, it has to be accepted. And if it's not, that's okay too. But anyways, thinking about Father's Day got me thinking about Mother's Day. And do we not get as much marketing for Father's Day as they do for Mother's Day because dads just aren't really consumers like that? Because when you think about it, who does the most shopping in the household? Usually mom. So it's like, I think their campaign is geared toward getting mom to spend money. And dad's not, the sentiment is going to be lost on dad. What are we going to get? Some socks, a tie, yada, yada, yada. Oh, we're going to get a macaroni noodle painting from the kid. Unless you got a cheap little 3-year-old who scribbles you a likeness of yourself. No, I'm kidding. My 3-year-old did scribble me a little picture and everything like that, and it warmed my heart. It meant more to me than any other gift that someone could have gave me. So as I make light of it, because it's just what I do appreciate the fact that, you know, my little man thought about me. He used his coloring time at daycare to stop and draw a picture for dad. So that's pretty cool. But on the consumer side of the game, isn't it disgusting that we can see things like that and still be okay with it? If anybody thinks that I'm getting ready to steer the Father's Day show down the path of capitalism is the devil and capitalism is the crux of the angst of our existence in this society, damn it, you're right. Because all roads lead to capitalism, and it makes things disgusting. So it makes me feel like because mom got something expensive for Mother's Day, watch where I'm going, because of the consumer-driven capitalist machine, mom got something expensive for Mother's Day. Most fathers don't get anything more expensive than a sports tie or something like that. $75, $80. Now it has me measuring the love that my children have for me against the gifts that they give me for a bullshit ass made up ass day. It is what it is. It's what we do in this country. We compare. My house is bigger than yours. How many square foot do you have? How many acres do you have? How much this do you have? So if we put that type of comparison in our relationships, we allow the capitalist machine to put that type of enmity between our men and women in relationships. Can you see why we have a tug of war? Because we allow them to create the system of division in our households. And you got to be careful with this. Because if you aren't rooted and grounded in who you are as a person, I personally don't give a damn about holidays. I don't celebrate holidays. If the person that I'm with celebrates holidays, I will indulge them because I care about them. But I have no type of feeling about a holiday. I don't feel like I'm less than or more because I participate, anything like that. I know what it's about. It's consumer driven. When someone says, what do you want for Christmas? Wait a minute, you're supposed to be giving a gift. A gift comes from the heart, not from the wallet necessarily. Sometimes, yeah. But usually, no. But we've allowed the beast called capitalism to turn us into these materialistic, gimme, gimme, gimme as consumers in this country. And once upon a time, it just wasn't that way. There was some morality. There were some values. We could talk about slavery and all that stuff, but that's not where we're at right now. Let's talk about after we've kind of moved away from that a little bit. It's never gone anywhere. Let's be frank. Racism and race stuff has never gone anywhere. But let's just say, for the sake of arguments, we're not talking about that. Let's just talk about how we used to relate to one another 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Very differently than the way we move now. Now it's about popping tags. How much did you spend? How much you got? You didn't have the extra $3,000 to give me the Z71. You buy your kids a car. How many of us had to save our own money to buy our own car? And you buy your kids a car, you give them a car, and they look at you like, how old is that? It's because we allow the beast to control how we relate with our family. So I'm not so much put off by the fact, I joke about it, but I'm not really put off by the fact that when Mother's Day comes around, we spend so much more money on mom than we do on dad. But that's to diminish the importance of having a father, because we look at everything monetarily. We don't spend that much money on dad because we don't really value dad. We don't value his contribution to the family unit. What is dad's contribution to the family unit? Oftentimes, we have a objective view of our parents. I've talked about that before. How we objectify our parents. And I think no parent is more objectified than dad. Sorry, my clap button was delayed. We get objectified. Anybody who has a teenage daughter knows you get a phone call from her, she needs something. Something's coming up. Some way, shape, form, or fashion, you got to spend some money when that teenage girl calls you. That's how it works, because they don't fool with you any other way. Oh, dad. Oh. Hey, dad. Yeah, kind of busy right now. What are you doing? Watching videos on YouTube. Well, damn. Can't watch videos and talk to your old man at the same time? Usually, no. But if you don't have a teenage daughter, ask a friend. And they'll tell you, man, it's a very rewardless experience. Because it's like having a girlfriend that you're not intimate with. They get everything from you. And you get very little in return. Almost the same relationship you had with her mom. You give everything and you get so little in return. And then, lo and behold, they roll off down the street with some other guy. You and your backpack and your clothes and your car, have fun in that new apartment. And home is always where mom is. Do you notice that? When kids talk about going home, it's usually to mom's house that dad paid for before they got divorced. But anyways, they always think of mom as home. And the beast has done that to us. And so what I'm saying is that we really have to take that back. And what we have to do, men, is we have to really nail down what being a man is all about. We've got to define this. We've got to stand firm on it. Because I think that we are complicit in being undervalued as well. Because we play these roles and we suffer in silence. Oftentimes we do not let the people that we deal with, a la our children, our wives, girlfriends, etc. We do a horrible job at communicating to them that we have these needs too. We have a need to be cared for and feel valuable too. We have a need to be wanted as well. We would like to see some sort of effort put in to express love and adoration for us as well. And I think that we view that process as unmanly or feminine. And I think that even some of our sisters view that as unmanly or feminine. And it's not, because we're human beings. Thoughts, feelings, and emotions, all that kind of stuff, yada, yada, yada. Deepak Chopra this, Oprah Winfrey that. Yeah, we got all that too. Oftentimes there isn't a space for us to express that though. Oftentimes we get neglected on the emotional side of the game, and we get extra emphasis placed on our socioeconomic status in this country versus the content of our character, to be a little Martin Luther King about it. And anytime you mention something like this, anytime you start to voice your opinion about it, it sounds like you're whining. Oh, he's bitching. There goes those men. Man up. Be a man. Stiff up the upper lip. Tighten up your bootstrap. I don't know. I know that some of the men in my age range, the mid 30s to mid 40s range, talk about the way the young men conduct themselves today. I've seen the memes about the guy sitting in the car while the girl's pumping the gas and the girl's changing the tire and the guy's like sitting on the sideline texting. Black girl magic. That's the cause. That's the cause. Because a lot of these young brothers saw daddy work his fingers down to the bone, only for mom to run off with the next guy. Daddy's dead. Mom gets to live her life. And he's like, I'm not going to waste myself being a gentleman, opening doors. I'm going to treat this lady just like I would one of the homies. Shoot, it's her car. Why would I pump her gas? It's her car. Why would I change the tire? Now, people who were raised the old school way like myself are going to be like, that's a sorry Negro. That nigga ain't worth a quarter. That's my opinion right now today. Even being intelligent enough to know why he conducts his stuff that way, my opinion is still that that's a Rudy Poot. And you should, if your lady is a damsel in distress, she is, let me see a quaint way of putting this. She is a stone's throw away from being somebody else's girl. Because the last thing you want is for your girl to be a damsel in distress and for some knight in shining armor to come rescue her. I don't give a damn. Both of my ex-wives would tell you, don't call AAA, call me. You're not finna be a damsel in distress and my girl gonna be on the side of the road while some other dude comes and rescues her. We're gonna have a serious problem if you call AAA and you got a flat tire. That's just me. I feel like when you put your lady out there, she is food for the game. And you're setting the stage for her to be somebody else's girl. Because you got somebody who was raised the old school way like myself who'll come along and, hey, sugar, what's going on? You need some help? Oh, hey, you sit down somewhere. Okay, yeah, I got this. All right, baby. I keep a pocket full of change jingling. You know what I mean? Let them know I got those old school ways. Ba-da-ba-ts. I'm sorry, I've been lazy. I didn't download any new drops last weekend. I should have. Bad Arshawn. But anyways, these things are byproducts of the capitalist beast that controls the country. And the reason why we find ourselves victim to the game is because, one, our women buy the bull crap hook, line, and sinker. Two, our silence is a silent nod in agreement with the way they conduct themselves with us. Yes, treat me like I have no value. Yes, treat me like a thing. Yes, treat me like an ATM machine. Yes, because if you're silent, no response is a response. Excuse me. No response is a response. I'm gonna go ahead and blow that up for myself. I'm not tooting my own horn. That's a response. That's saying I'm okay with whatever it is that you're doing. And if you don't put a value on your product, on who you are, what you represent as a man, somebody else is going to assign a value for you. So if you say that I'm worth X and someone gives you Y, you need to pump the brakes and say, hey, I need to be treated this way. Most of the time we just accept whatever crumb we get from our children and from our significant others. Oftentimes we do, but they set boundaries with us. Oh yeah. As hunter-gatherers, most of us are providers, protectors. We're not allowed to fumble the ball. We're just not allowed to do that. I'll tell you, personally, I've heard my daughter say, oh, well, mom can't get it this week. She has to get it next week because she's got to pay X, Y, and Z. And I thought that was remarkable that she was mature enough to recognize that sometimes mom has to prioritize the needs over the wants. And that sometimes we have to delay gratification to not this Friday, but next Friday. I thought that was remarkable. What I 100% didn't appreciate was the fact that I never get that type of concession made for me and my money. Like, I had to ask her, you do realize that I have bills too, right? You do realize that I have other kids too, right? Because I never get that concession. Hey, sweetheart, not this Friday, but next Friday. Oh, don't worry about it then. Really? Lay it on so thick. Do you want me to go do a crime to get you the money? I'm like, but you just gave your mom every consideration on the man. And that's because we do not define what it means to be a man. We allow other people to define it for us. You see it all over social media. Oh, if he really love you, girl, he'll do whoop-de-bam, whoop-de-bop. Oh, a real man gonna do X, Y, and Z. Only a real man with whoop-whoop. And you gonna tell me all of this with your vagina. You have a vagina, but you get to define what's masculine. You have a vagina, but you get to define what it means to be a man, what a real man is. Let's face it. Most of these heifers couldn't pick a real man out of a... If you put 10 real men and one Rudy Poo in a lineup, they pick the Rudy Poo. Every single time. Because they have no idea what a real man is. And we've allowed these people with zero experience at being a man to define what it means to be a man, to place the value on us as men. And what I'm saying is that's inaccurate. That's not the way things should go. Just like it's her body, her choice. She gets to choose the things that make her a woman, and she gets to choose what it means to be a woman. Slut shaming is a thing now. Slut walk, whore walk, all that kind of stuff. To say that a woman can conduct herself in any fashion she deems possible and still be good, clean, and wholesome. And I say, big up to you. I say, big up to the institution of womanhood. But you can't, in the same breath, after taking your independence that way, and I champion that, you can't in the same breath say, but this is what a real man is. Because you have to allow me the same freedom to define what a man is and what standard of man I want to be. You do not get to define that for me. Just like I'm an advocate for freedom of speech. If a white guy wants to use the N-word when he's singing a rap song, by George, N-word, N-word, N-word. Because I enjoy being able to say whatever the hell I want to say. So I have to allow the people around me to express themselves and say whatever the hell they want to say. Now, you can say the N-word around me because that's your right. I just want you, two things with that. One, you got to know that everybody's not okay with it. And two, if you use it around me, I want you to use it all the time. Don't get around Ray Ray and them and then want to, oh shoot, not sing the song. Wait a minute, that's your favorite song? Because I'm an asshole. I'm going to put the song on purpose just to see if you say the N-word part around Ray Ray and them. Be a man, buck up. So I say that to say, if I want a thing, I have to be okay with other people having that thing too. I want freedom of speech. I have to be okay with other people exercising their freedom of speech as well. You want the ability to define what a woman is for yourself and walk in that truth. Women, that is beautiful and that's great. You have to also allow men to define what it means to be a man and to walk in that truth as well. You can't have it both ways. Otherwise, what you're saying is this is just a feminist dictatorship that we're putting in the media. To hell with you. You're going to be what we said you are, and we'll be what we want to be. And then that's just wrong, because that kind of puts us in the place that you guys were in like 60 years ago. So it's not about shifting the power dynamic. It should be about leveling the playing field and bringing equality to the power dynamic. Not one side defining either of the other sides. You see what I'm saying? Then we're talking about real compromise. Then we're talking about basic general human respect. And I can get behind that because I think that every human being should be respected. But for some strange reason, it comes out as complaining or whining or bitching when men decide to say, hey, I'm more than just a bill payer. I'm more than just a stand up for my family. I'm more than all that. I got feelings and emotions and dreams and aspirations and things that I wanted to do too. There's a man out there somewhere who wanted to be a championship tap dancer. And he gave up his dreams of being Gregory Hines to take care of the family. I love how a lot of us a lot of the millennials and younger are finding a way to take care of your family and also do the things that you want to do too. Don't make the mistake that I made and get so wrapped up in doing the things that you want to do that you neglect your responsibilities as a man. Because while we talk about taking the responsibility for defining what manhood is, there are still some natural man duties that we have to undertake when it comes to being in a relationship. That's another show. But we have to also remember, family is first, but only after self. Because if I don't replenish my cup, I got nothing to put out. We have to remember the cup analogy. So family is first, after myself. Because if I don't take care of Arshawn, I got no Arshawn to share. I have no Arshawn to give away. And eventually the cup will get empty. And then I've got no Arshawn for Arshawn, and I've got no Arshawn for anyone else. And I'll tell you, when I run out of Arshawn, the only thing left is asshole. And it's not good. So I have to do certain things to make sure that I refill my cup. And I encourage other men to do the same thing. But I digress. I love where I see a lot of young creators and athletes being both fathers and athletes or creators or whatever the case may be. I know that, shoot, any given time of day at the gym, there's 10 kids running around who are not engaged in martial arts whatsoever. But their dad is there. Half of them are Trevor Olisons, you know what I mean? Sorry, shout out to Blackie Chan. I love you, boy. But I love seeing that. And we're taking, I see slow steps of us, because I'm starting to see more men support groups. I'm starting to hear the language change a little bit. I'm starting to hear people talk about vulnerabilities. I'm starting to hear us have some uncomfortable conversations. And I think most of that is because the guys in my age range, I think the men who are millennials, we were that first group of little boys that remember hearing that get in touch with your feminine side conversation when we were growing up. And I think some of us kind of took that to heart. And I think some of us have made an effort to try and understand the way that women think a little bit. I think the breakdown is women just don't give a damn how men think. I think we're making an effort, a conscious effort. I think the institution of manhood is making a conscious effort to understand women. I just don't think it's being reciprocated. I don't think the effort and the energy is being reciprocated. Because most women don't give a damn. You try to explain to women how men think and reason, and they will give you feedback to the contrary. And I'm like, wait, that is the thought process and the logic of a woman. And I'm talking about the thought process and the mindset of a man. This is very different. So I think that's what we have to get women to understand, to hear us. And I know that there's some guys out there that's like, man, that sounds like some sucker shit. But if we want our relationships, I don't know many men who don't want to be in a relationship, contrary to what you see on social media. I don't know a lot of guys that don't want to be family men. It's like, isn't that the ultimate goal? Is to have a family, to be a family man? I don't care about titles and stuff like that. What do you call that? Husband and wife. You can call yourselves whatever you want to. But that connection with another person that you form a bond with, and you form a family, and you guys go on to live and raise children, whatever that process is for you, I think most men want to be engaged in that process. I just don't think that women are giving enough of a damn to understand what it takes to live successfully in that process with us. Most of the time, we bend over backwards to get the kids what they want, to get the wife what they want, to keep the family happy. The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. Happy wife, happy life. And that nigga ain't talking about nothing. He's just supposed to pay bills, and he's supposed to keep the nest paid for. Let mom make the nest however she wants. You can have a man cave, which is usually a shed or a workshop or something like that in the back of the main residence, where we can go and live for a little while until we go to work again the next day to slave for the man to pay for the domicile that the family lives in. When I say it like that, only because I have poetic license, potting and whatnot, when I say it like that, it sounds dastardly. It sounds horrible. That's because I like making dark jokes. But ask me, is it accurate? Look at your life and tell me, except for the very few of us, I'm not saying this is my reality, but for a lot of men, it's reality. For a lot of us, we saw our dads go through it. We saw grandpa go through it. These guys are just live-in bill payers. These guys are just live-in children rearers. Oh, and what I'm saying is that we're more than that. We are more than that. Just like women are more than homemakers. Women are more than having a place in the kitchen, sewing, washing clothes. Women are way more than that. They are way more complicated than that. It takes way more than that to make a woman happy, to make a woman feel actualized. And on the same token, it takes more than that to make a man feel actualized. We just don't work and pay bills and die. We don't desire to just work, pay bills and die. We have aspirations. We have hopes. We have likes. We have hobbies. We have friends. And we shouldn't be looked at crazy whenever we engage in these hobbies and we spend time with our friends. We shouldn't get side-eyed. Because what I've realized with all of the dozens and hundreds of mistakes that I've made with women over the years, what I've realized is the exact same thing, desires, hopes, feelings, dreams, all the things that come with being a human being, everything that I have going on, she does too. She has thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, and she has preconceptions, and she has convictions. She has all of that going on too. And just like it's important for her to be able to express that, what I'm saying, damn it, is that it is important, equally important, for me to be able to express that too. Oftentimes, it gets overlooked. I don't want to be a selfish chatty catty, so I'm going to go to the chat real quick, read a couple of comments from my listeners on Spotify and YouTube. You guys bear with me one hot sec. All right, Eric Montgomery said it's a shame when women don't make the same effort. Let's keep it real. It's pretty simple to keep a man happy. I know it ain't that complicated with me. I'm gonna give you a round of applause to Eric Montgomery. I love my dude Eric. Shout out to my boy Eric Montgomery. Yeah, I think that with that statement, it doesn't take a lot to keep a man happy. While I think I partially agree, and I think a lot of men agree as well, I think it has less to do with us being easy to please and more with us getting so little for so long that any little token of effort seems like a whole lot. Like if you hungry as a mug and you know what I mean, you eat a sandwich, you feel like it's a great sandwich. It's just you were starving. You know what I mean? Hey, Shayla, what's going on, girl? But it's just that you were really, really, really hungry. I think, I can't remember which comedian has that joke about, some girl making you hold out on the vagina for 90 days. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, after 90 days, without eating, if you ate a cracker, you'd be like, oh, dang, that was a good cracker. That was a good cracker. But after a while, you realize, oh, that's just a regular saltine. See, after you've been treated well for a sustained amount of time, you realize that you're not being treated well. You're just being treated the way that you're supposed to be treated. And to be treated well is for someone to go above and beyond just normal civility. Most of the time when men get treated the way that they're supposed to be treated, we think we're being treated like kings. We think that we're being treated like gods, when we're really just getting normal human civility. But we have been treated subhumanly for so long that when someone comes along and treats us like a human being, we feel like we found the one. When we've really just found somebody who knows how to treat human beings right. She's not special. She just knows how to treat people right. People. And when you know how to treat people right, there are some things that are just gender neutral. There are certain civilities that are gender neutral. just to be civil, being cordial, being polite. But we've been abused. I've heard someone break down the word abuse as abnormal use. Although I know that's not the etymological root of the word. I don't want to go all off into that. Don't want to bore y'all with my wordsmith skills tonight. But I thought that was a pretty savvy adaptation of what it means to be abused, to be abnormally used. And we have been abnormally used for so long that when someone treats us normally, we think that they've done a really big thing. So we have to normalize being treated well. But first, we got to get together and we have to decide what that looks like. We have to define what that looks like. And I think we're moving in that direction. I would just like for it to be more of a normal thing. I would like for guys to be open and honest about it. I think too many guys put on the face of false male bravado and act like they don't have these feelings. But they're sitting there somewhere right now with their beard at the corner of the couch, pouting, because they want her to just know what's going on with them instead of vocalizing what's wrong with them. If we normalize this conversation, hey baby, you made me feel like this. I feel like that. This is what I like. I know I never told you this, but in college I was an arm wrestling champion. And now I see that arm wrestling is a professional sport now. I want to get back into professional arm wrestling. And I need you to support me. All my life I wanted to go in the backyard and catch a fairy because I think they really exist. I need you to support me in that because I found some fairy detection gear on Amazon and I'm going to buy it. And I'm going to, although I joke, I'm serious. Whatever it is, man, I think a lot of men, I think we're missing something in the middle of us because we haven't been treated well and we haven't been valued. But at the end of the day, each man has to define for himself what it means to be a man. And then we need to come together and put those things in the pot, find out what works. Bring that to the institution of womanhood en masse, because that's where we lose. We don't stick together. Women will ride for each other. You can be talking about bitches and hoes, and some woman will stand up for the bitches and hoes and say, don't say bitches and hoes. Ma'am, I'm not talking about women. Why are you caping up for bitches and hoes? Because a lot of bitches and hoes look like women, and they're just going to ride with whoever looks like them. And we don't do that. We just don't. We're not built like that. A lot of us, if we have a friend who's not taking care of his kids, we're on his ass. Bro, you, regardless of what's going on with you and Sheila, you need to go over there and see about man. That's just how we roll. Because that's part of being a man. We're going to hold the men around us to task. Men. I didn't say F-boys. I didn't say bullshit niggas. I didn't say that. See, and that's where you guys mix the game up because a lot of fuck boys and a lot of bullshit niggas look like men. And you guys will put us all over in that same category. Do you see how men know that there's a distinction between bitches and hoes and women? Women don't. Men know that there's a difference between sorry niggas, fuck boys, and men. We know that. Because we keep those guys out from around us because we know that being in close proximity to one of those guys brings our value down, brings our stock down. We don't want to be associated with people like that. But that's also another show. So we have to get together and we have to start having these conversations. And I encourage any man under the sound of my voice tonight to start having these conversations. Start making this a normal thing, expressing how you feel. Stop suppressing the way things make you feel. If Father's Day, you didn't feel appreciated on Father's Day, don't put that bitch ass picture on Facebook anyway. Don't just put it on there and fake smile anyway. Tell them, hey, I don't think you guys properly showed me appreciation. I do a lot of shit around here. I fix doors. I fix cabinets. I give people medicine when they're sick. I go and get people ice cream when they were pregnant. I'm not saying I'm, oh, woe to me, oh, woe to dad. What I'm saying is I need some effort to show that I'm an important member of this family too. Because whenever you got a game, I bring the pom-poms out. Whenever you got a book club, I come out and I serve you guys crackers and little hors d'oeuvres and things like that. I support you guys and I show you guys 100% maximum effort, and I command the same thing in return. I'm special, and damn it, you guys are going to reach in your pockets. You're going to get your allowance. You're going to get that money, return that check from Amazon, get that money, and go get me something good. Anyways, I don't have all the questions. I don't have all the answers. I'm not usually this smart. I'm just on a roll right now. My name is Arshawn Wade, a.k.a. The Angry Nerd, a.k.a. Arshawn the Mouthpiece, the cat that got lost in Arkansas on his way to South Beach, a.k.a. Arshawn, a.k.a. Sean with the motherfucking R. Peace.